Market Day Report. So glad you're with us this morning as we open up trading. Okay, as we go to the corn market, guess what? Flash sale reported overnight by USDA, 132,000 metric tons to South Korea. Right now, that's a country we're not talking about any tariffs with. At least right now, the corn market is up 2 3/4 cents. Make that 3 pennies now on the March at 4.91 3/4. New crop just a tick higher at 4.65 1/2. Soybeans were really hammered yesterday, and then a little bit of tariff news came out of Mexico, and we saw markets kind of reverse, though beans were a little slow to react. They ended up finishing in the red. Now, March beans this morning start a penny lower at 10.57 1/4. Soy meal was higher yesterday and continues to build on that. And soy oil lower yesterday, and the losses will continue in a market that really has had a pretty good month, up nearly 13% month over month. Now to the wheat market. We'll start with Chicago. July contract at 5.87 1/2. It's down 2 3/4. Hard red July 6.02 1/4, down 2 1/4. And spring wheat Minneapolis D's at 6.50 1/4. It's 9 pennies lower. Finally, New York and cotton futures. New crop December 68.95, and that is down or is up 46 points. All right, Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading. Tommy, thanks for joining us this morning. When you look at the row crops, anything stand out to you?
Just yesterday's price action, just people, all types of stops were hit on the upside and the downside. There was something for everyone. But if you're a trend trader, you probably are starting to get aggravated. Some of this money that's it's having some drawdowns on the risk, and it's starting to scare people. Traders love it. I think this trade's wonderful. Hedgers probably are a little aggravated, but I think everyone's relieved. Just 24 hours ago, I was in studio with you all talking about all the implications with Chris Swift and Susanna, what these tariffs could have. And as I was taking an Uber back over here to Nesvick's office, they were already delayed 30 days. So this is the world we live in. You need to adjust to it. And it's providing wonderful opportunities for both bulls and bears, because we have, you'll see corn up 10, corn down 10, beans up 15, down 15. If you need to do something, get those offers and bids placed. There's a good chance you can get hit in both the overnight and the day session.
Yeah, let's go over to the equities now. They were hammered before that news out of Mexico, but Dow has been up 15.7% over the past 12 months. We're lower territory as we look at the mini futures over to the NASDAQ, and, well, we're moving in higher territory, and then the S&P in higher territory. NASDAQ has really led the charge, up 24.3% this year, but all three have been in the red this week, and NASDAQ has been in the red most of the month. Any concerns about the equities?
Well, it's just something that if you buy and hold and you plan on retiring, it's something you should have in your portfolio. One quick thing I'd like to add going back to grains is people were upset at the night session saying, oh, wow, the month of February is starting, we're establishing crop insurance, and now we have the markets tanking. By the end of the day, the first day of the Feb crop insurance level was, obviously corn was up and beans were up. So watch that. Today's a great day, or at least in a week, to call your crop insurance agent and say, this is about where crop insurance looks, and then you could start to layer in those levels of protection as we talk about with crop insurance, puts, forward cash sales, whatever works for you. I will say this before we go on break. It was 70 degrees here in Nashville yesterday, and it was warm across the Midwest. That gets people dragging out the planters and saying, you know what, we're going to go plant a crop in 60, 90 days. So I feel like the mentality of the farmers really moved. They're going to move that old crop, get the planter set up, and get ready to go grow a record corn crop in 2025, Tony.
Yeah, good point. Tommy Grisafi's with us this morning. Hang on, we'll come back and talk livestock futures next. Market Day Report continues after this. Market Day Report, and the trade is open. We're trading cattle this morning, live cattle futures. Let's go to the big board. Up 25 on that front month February at 203.22. You know, we've hit record highs in live cattle, in feeder cattle, and in cash cattle. We'll see whether or not it turns and heads up higher on cash trade this week. April's still down 7 cents, but June now at 194.62. That's up 15. Let's go to the feeder cattle market. And the March up 22 at 270.72. The April 15 higher at 269.97. And we'll wrap it up here with the hogs in the livestock market. And that's 72 higher for February, 85.05. But still haven't got that 100 handle back into the June contract. Both June and July last week trading at 103 and 104. Tommy Grisafi's with Nesvick Trading. Tommy, looking at the proteins, any thoughts here?
Yeah, absolutely. Big price action yesterday. We just casually had a down 500-day in feeders. The market is at a price that many cattle traders, it's double of what we used to trade back in the old days. So a lot of risk to manage there. The market digested the selling very well yesterday. There's starting to be talk that there's some beef starting to back up on the grocer's case, all types of reasons why. And some of those reasons would be our immigration policies. And for example, take shortly after President Trump was elected, the mayor of New York said he was going to stop food cards. We were giving out an incredible amount of money for both citizens, which is part of our program here in the Farm Bill, but then for non-citizens, we were giving food cards away. I'm hearing many of those stopped, and that may actually be what topped the cattle market. It takes a few weeks to digest all that information, but starting to hear beef backing up just a little bit on the grocer's case.
Yeah, and then you throw in some of these tariff concerns, especially when we're talking about the pork market. Pork definitely relying on the export markets, especially like Mexico and even China, right?
Yeah, and the markets are digesting the news well, whether it be what you talked about, that the Dow Jones is now 800 off yesterday or last night's lows, what the markets are doing. But I think the way beef trades technically, and of course pork, extremely sensitive to any news out of China. Now, if hogs were open last night when that China headline came out, they might have been down a bunch. But by the time cooler heads prevail and we get back to work, we say this is probably going to be like Mexico and Canada. We're just trying to negotiate here. So definitely one thing people have to understand about this Trump presidency, Tony, he's not running for re-election. So he ran for president, won, ran for president, lost, ran for president, won. He's not ever going to run again. So he's getting as much done, him and his administration, while he can. And he doesn't care what we think at this point because he doesn't need our votes. He won't be running again. So a much more aggressive President Trump here in 2025, sir.
Good points. Tommy Grisafi with Nesvick Trading. All right.